Sometimes when you spend so much of your career hunting overseas, you eventually develop a strong desire to get back home to your hunting roots, so to speak, and pursue the game of your early years. And my co-host Dave Folson and I are classic examples of this truth.
Whitetails are my introduction to big game hunting, and I dedicated great portions of my career hunting and outfitting for this iconic American species. It's also true, like Aaron, whitetail took a back seat as I expanded my hunting career. But I never have and never will lose my love for hunting big bucks, especially in my home state of Texas.
The 14,000-acre Star S Ranch is home to one of the most intensely managed whitetail herds in the Lone Star State. Year-round management, culling, and strict harvest rules targeting fully mature bucks only allow the bucks of the Star S to achieve a maximum antler potential that lures hunters like coyotes to a call.
A world-class ranch with the true potential for the buck of a lifetime? Could it get any better? Yeah, it could. Today I'll be guided by my great friend and fellow whitetail addict, Brian Bannister, the guy that a few years ago put me on the biggest buck of my career. Join me deep in the heart of Texas at the Star S Ranch as we open the pages of Trijicon's World of Sports Afield. Well, we pulled out of Fort Worth nice and early this morning. A beautiful drive down through the Texas Hill Country, and we are just about to pull into Mason, Texas. We'll turn southwest at Mason, pretty soon be at 14,000 of the prettiest acres in the state of Texas, the Star S Ranch. Gonna meet my old buddy Brian Bannister down here. We're gonna do a little bit of whitetail hunting. It's hot. It's typical Texas early season, and it's 82 degrees. It says on the thermometer, but anyhow, we're going to get out here and we're going to do some hunting down in Mason. They've had a lot of rain. Everything is really green, but one of my favorite places to be. And Brian, one of my favorite guys to be there with.
Dave's been out to the ranch several times, and him and Brian are old hunting buddies, and I got a feeling before the week's over, they'll find a really special buck that's just what Dave's looking for.
Well, we are here. I imagine Brian's up in the lodge eating lunch. No, it's a little after lunchtime, so I'll see if I can't find him. Tell him we're here. I thought it was deer season, but obviously it's April. I must have been in a coma. No, I had to drive through the water and the grass to get here.
Yes, sir.
How are you, boss?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not stuck down there in a river somewhere. That was a pretty good. But boy, I couldn't believe how high that thing had flooded.
It's crazy.
Hey, geez.
I've never seen that much water down here before.
Yeah, 82 degrees. We're gonna be able to find a deer.
We'll root one out somewhere.
Yeah, let's get something to drink, man.
You know, growing big whitetails is not all luck. It's hard work. I think over the next few days, me and Dave are going to show you the results of the hard work and management practices that have been put in place on this ranch.
Well, I'm actually breaking in a new rifle for me on this hunt. This is the Ruger 300 Win Mag in that new FTW Hunter. And I tell you what, you know, I've shot this a lot down on the range. It's gonna be my first hunt with it. 300 is just a great all-around classic cartridge. It'll handle whitetail, elk, I mean, most of the African plains game. And of course, I've got this one topped with a Trijicon AccuPoint. This is a 4-16. Going to be shooting the Hornady 200 grain ELDX and the Precision Hunter, which has just been my go-to bullet for the last several years. So yeah, I think this can handle one of these big Star S whitetails.
I believe it will.
I think it will too. We just need to find one in this heat wave we're having.
Yes,
but now we'll throw a couple down range and see where we're at. All right, B, you ready?
Yep. Yep, Dave. Is that where you thought it'd be?
Yeah. No, she's straight on. There are more shots taken at whitetail deer than any other species in North America. Hey, I've hunted him hard in a lot of different states, provinces, and cover conditions. But one constant every serious deer hunter has or will face in this game is a chance at a big buck in low visibility or near dark conditions. This is, after all, the only time veteran bucks will come out of cover. When the buck of your lifetime shows up late or very early, standard black crosshairs on traditional scopes simply disappear against the deer's dark hide. The answer? An illuminated reticle. For years, my whitetail rifles have been topped with Trijicon 3 to 9 AccuPoint scopes, and I have never found a condition this versatile scope could not handle. The comfort of knowing I can pick an exact spot on a buck, early or late, with the tritium dot on my Trijicon has, many times, been the difference between success and almost.
Dave, this may look familiar to you. This is your favorite turkey hunting spot, right?
Yeah, that valley I have, you couldn't throw a dime down there without me putting a boot print on it last year. I chased them back and forth for a week, but had some good luck. This ranch is 14,000 acres. Now, I want to give you, Brian just pointed it out to me. This is where we're standing right here is, you said, the tallest.
The highest point in Mason County.
The highest point in the entire Mason County. All the way over on the horizon, there's, you see a plateau that dips kind of down. The Star S Lodge is located right there on this side of that dip. And you know, from about here to about there, if you can see it, it's Star S.
Yes, sir. Sure is.
You know, as hunters, as we travel around, we develop places in our heart that are special places, that are really meaningful to us. And it might be because of the people in a place, or it might be because of the land, or it might be because of the hunting and the game is really, really good. And for me, all those kind of come together at the Star S. You know, great people, one of the greatest ranches in the Lone Star State, but just the peace and the quiet of the country. This is, you know, big country, and it feels big, and it hunts big, and you just sometimes it's okay to feel small. And when you get down here and you look out and you see a million stars at night, or get out here in a rocking chair in the afternoon between hunts and get to listen to the waterfall here at the lodge. Hey, not everything in life, not every payoff is cash. And sometimes a little bit of peace of mind is a pretty big payoff in this business. And this is one of the places I come for it. In the background is between 8 and 10 million bats that live right here on the Star S Ranch. It's really a unique piece of Texas, one of the largest bat colonies in the whole state. But in the summertime, there's even more bats here, and they say between 8 and 10 million bats will make their home in a cave right here on the Star S. And really, they kind of do tours. People come from, really have been here from the world over to watch the nightly bat migrations when they come out of the cave. But there's lots of cool things about the Star S, and I'll tell you, that's darn sure one of them. And they are just streaming out of here. Just flock after flock. I don't know what you call a herd of bats. We'll call it a flock.
Well, Brian's been scouting, and he knows this deer herd pretty well, and he's been scouting in one area, and he's told me about a couple of deer that he's seen, and he said, I think you'll like the looks of it, but you've got one of them you've been telling me about for 2 days, and he's about to be keyed up. Show me.
Yeah, I think he's gonna fit your bill. This would be that deer.
Oh, look how tall that thing is.
He's really tall.
Man, he has got stuff. Look how he's bladed on that side. Oh.
That's pretty cool on this deer. How both
Yeah,
deer come out.
I'm just telling you, boy, if we can get an eye on him, man, that is a great looking deer.
Closed captioning provided by Cryptech. Battlefield to backcountry.
Well, Dave, these deer are moving around, quite a bit. There's no rut going on or anything like that. We got a big wind this morning, so I'm gonna go try blind in the area that we've been seeing some deer that I kind of think you'd be interested in. Okay. Kind of down in the hole, kind of get out of this wind. And kind of use the ridge lines and stuff to break this wind off of us and see if we can get something done.
Yeah, well, always trust my guide, especially my guide. Well, sometimes you got to make a plan, and today's we're making a plan B. One of the other hunters in camp wounded a really good buck late this morning, late in the morning, about 11 o'clock, and they've asked Brian to be a part of the recovery on that. We're about 1,000 yards away from the area where Brian filmed that big deer, and I looked at that film hard today at lunch, so I'll know exactly what that deer is. And I really don't want to make a decision on a buck without Brian here, so we may just be doing a fun scouting this afternoon. I got my rifle with me. If that one buck comes in, I'll know him, and we'll certainly take him. But other than that, we may just be doing a little bit of scouting this afternoon, which is just fine. The Star S Ranch has one of the most intense management programs of any whitetail ranch anywhere in the world. And making sure that you shoot the right buck at the right age class is the key to everything. This is a monster deer by anybody's standards, even by Star S standards. I don't want to make this call without Brian here. I'm trying to do the math on the antlers. He's got some stickers. There's a lot of math. There's a lot of inches. I'm just not comfortable making this without Brian. But we're going to watch him. He seems calm. He came feeding up behind us. The wind's good. This deer looks like he's just going to have an afternoon feed. We're going to watch him. I'll show this to Brian tonight. We may be back hunting this buck in the morning.
Trigicon's World of Sports Afield has been presented by Trigicon, brilliant aiming solutions. DSC, conservation, education, and protecting hunters' rights. Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable. Ruger, rugged, reliable firearms. Boyd Harness Company, Mud River, travel, train, hunt. Ripcord Rescue Travel Insurance. Sports Afield Trophy Properties. The Wildlife Gallery Taxidermy Studio. And by Sam Hunter Training, because you only get one first shot.
Well, a little bit of a slow morning this morning. We had a forkhorn walk up the hill, and we had some deer out in front of us early. There was one big deer out there, but Brian has set in this last week after one of his hunters was here, and there's a really big deer. It's a big, tall, straight up deer, and he had actually shot a little film of that deer, and he showed me, and I said, boy, good Lord, if we could ever find that deer, that'd be the deer of my dreams. But you know, it's a little early in the season. They certainly haven't started rutting, so the deer are just kind of floating around. Anyhow, we're gonna do a little bit of driving around, see what we can see, but it looks like the morning is pretty much done.
There's a buck right there, bedded down.
Oh, I see him. Yeah. He's got a little drop tine off that.
Right side.
Uh-huh.
It's a young deer, though.
Yeah, he's a younger deer, but he just tucked in there, bedded down. He sees us, and he's just probably wondering, do we see him?
Yeah.
There he's up.
Figured it out.
Yeah. Made him uncomfortable. There he goes.
It's gonna be a good.
Oh, he's got a lot of potential, that one. It's hot today. It's about 83 degrees, and not a lot going on this morning, which can mean a good afternoon hunt. So what's kind of your plan for this afternoon?
Oh, I think we'll get out here. You know, while it's hot, we may go walk a few ridges, see if we can find something bedded down.
Several people are interested in that, and
Well, I think what we want to do, since it's warm, down over here in this kind of hole is where that blind is we set in this morning.
On the bottom of that ridge
Yeah,
over there. Yeah.
But I'd like to walk up and kind of walk this ridge. It's not a real high ridge, but we can kind of look down.
Yeah.
These deer kind of stage throughout the day.
Yeah.
And just see what we can see.
Yeah.
one particular deer, how do you like that?
It's always a challenge.
We're heading up this ridge. Brian just saw a deer walk across. He said, you don't think he saw us? No. Just a deer walking. He said, all I can tell you is he's tall, and this buck that we've been hunting is very tall, and this is his home area, so. That's him right there. That's him right there. You sure that's him? What on 14,000 acres is the odds of that? Oh my goodness. We came out here
3:30 in the afternoon.
3:30 in the afternoon.
in the general area where Brian saw this deer that he showed me, and I still haven't got a good look at him, but I've hunted with you long enough when Brian said that's him, that was him. What have we got here, Brian? Besides one world-class Texas buck. Oh my goodness. Look at that thing. That is him, brother.
You wanted odd.
Ah, you know how I like odd, and boy, is this guy got it. Let me tell you what, when you're on a 14,000 acre ranch and you're hunting a particular buck, and it's not maybe the only buck we'd have shot, it's the buck I wanted to shoot. Yeah. Oh, he's just got a little bit of everything. Look at those eye guards. He's actually got double eye guards. Yeah. Got double eye guards. I don't know how many points. Plenty of mass. Plenty of mass. I don't know how many points he's got, and I could really care less right now. I'll eventually get around to counting them in a minute. But let me tell you what, we got two kind of professional whitetail guides. I did it most of my life. You've done it most of your life, and you guided me to my best Texas whitetail of all time a few years ago. Now this one may or may not, I don't think it'll outscore him, but it sure out-cools him. It is just everything I was hoping to get. What a great example of Star S management, age, food, cover management, everything that you guys are doing down here. You don't grow deer like this unless you're doing everything right with the land. Brian, I know this is not the biggest buck on this ranch, but it is the perfect buck for Dave Fulson, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you, brother.
I couldn't be happier for you.
Oh, yes, indeed.